Okay, I think it's actually streaming now. Okay, sorry. I actually wasn't sure if it was already streaming or not. So let's start again. So this is fourth day that I'm working on a React app, which is an app for encoding, decoding text. So I already spent 3 days on it. What I did was I first created a spec, which looks like this. Okay, so this is a simple layout. We have 3 panels. First panel is the text input window, where we have encoding selection drop down, and we also input some text. Then we have a second panel, which is the transforms panel. And then we have output panel, where we have the result of our manipulations. For example, we can input text, then encode it using AES algorithm, and then here we can get the result in base 64. Then I created BDD styled spec. For example, when page loads, the user should see 3 panels: input, transforms, and output. This is for these we write a test. For each point of spec, we will write a test case. Okay, so then number 2, what I did is set up React app and created 3 boxes for 3 future panels of my app. Which means I already have this React app, which I can start with yarn start. Okay, it's saying that something's already running on port 3. I think that's all because this app is already running here. Yeah, it's running in another terminal window. Yes. Okay, so yeah, just started with yarn start. And then what we did here, we created just 3 panels for the input, transforms panel, and output panel. Then I set up Cyprus testing framework, which we can now open with yarn Cyprus open. Okay, it will take some time. Then I also set up Travis CI. More about the CIs in the previous video from day 3. But basically this is the thing which will run Cyprus tests currently. Here is our Travis CI. Yeah, this is my tracks transformer app, and currently it runs multiple example tests and actual tests which I need. Yeah, multiple example tests I already deleted actually. No, I did not delete them. Somehow they're still there. Yeah, these examples tests I can delete. Yeah, let me commit latest changes to Git first. Deleted example tests. Okay, now we push it. Git push origin master. Please make sure, yeah. Yeah, I'm actually not logged in under Windows, so I will use my Linux WSL. Now Windows comes bundled with a Linux, which I mostly use for developers task. So I'm logged in on this one. I'm using SSH key to authenticate with GitHub. So to push it, I need to enter my SSH key passphrase. Okay, now it pushed. Now it pushed, and you will be able to see that after every commit, the CI will rebuild everything. Yeah, now it's rebuilding it. So meanwhile, Cyprus started. So that's how I can run Cyprus tests locally. I currently have only one test, which just checks that all the 3 panels are there. Yeah, so basically this test succeeds. It checks that we have panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, that's it, and then it succeeds. So it basically does almost nothing. This is just a proof of concept currently. Same thing Travis I will do. It will run this same test, which will succeed. Okay, so and today what I wanted to do, I wanted to set up a UI framework and style these 3 panels. Okay. So I wanted to go with Bootstrap, but somehow now I think that's not such a good idea. Bootstrap is a nice CSS framework. Bootstrap. You can use it with any JavaScript framework, or without any framework it will work, but still it is built more for jQuery, or maybe if not jQuery, then for some raw HTML plus CSS with maybe some elementary JavaScript. However, with React, it's better if we have a specific UI framework. One thing which I see a lot now on Twitter is that Material UI is very popular now. So that's what I wanted to try. I never tried it, I researched it. You can see that I tried to open this link several times, but I haven't really tried it yet. So what I want to do today is to set up Material UI and style those panels a little. Okay, so let's go in installation. It says npm install, but I'm using yarn, so I will do yarn add instead. Well, but not in this window. I will do yarn add. Material UI core. Okay, while it's installing, we can look at the docs. So with any framework, with any UI framework, you will usually find more or less the same documentation with components which you can tell what they mean. For our input-output transforms panel, the best thing is probably the box, maybe not. Okay, let me first start with getting started. Installation. Okay, we installed it. Okay, it says we need to add this font, so let's add this font. Where do I need to add it? I think I will add it here. It will not hurt if I add it directly here. It should probably work. The font icons. In order to use the font icon component, you must first add the material icons font. Here are some instructions on how to do so. For instance, via Google Web Fonts. Okay. Material place. Okay, I can do same thing. I can just add it here. What's next? SVG icons. Basically, install SVG icons. Okay, whatever. We will install whatever you tell us. SVG icons. What else? Yeah, okay. I think we don't need this probably. Okay, let's try some basic thing to add some basic things here to make sure that this material UI is actually working now. I think I'll need to restart my app actually. So I'll do yarn start again. Okay, now that it started, we need to edit somehow this app CSS. How we need to edit it, we need to find here. Material UI button. Okay, import button from material UI button. Whatever. I hope they have TypeScript typings because I'm actually using TypeScript. And then button variant contain color primary. Okay, whatever. So let us add a button, which we don't really need, but just to make sure this material UI is working. Okay, just added this button here. Yeah, okay. You can see buttons here. So it seems like it's working. Button looks rather nice. So instead of these divs, let us now use what they suggest us, this box thing. Okay, let's say we have this box here. Yeah, we need to import this box first. From where do we need to import it? I hope that from here. Yeah. So we have 3 boxes. How does it look? I don't know, it still looks the same actually. I don't see any difference. Actually, I styled these things here, which I think I can now remove these stylings, or at least we can remove this border part. Yeah, so now we don't see anything. I don't think this box actually is anyhow visible, because it's probably just a container, so it's probably not what we actually want. Okay, let's see what this thing is. Some container thing. So this is how it looks. Okay, and they have an example of this. Okay, what is the CSS baseline, I wonder? I don't know what it is. Does it explain this here? What this thing is? No, it's not even explaining it. Just telling us CSS baseline, of course. That's what you should know. But okay, let's do it like this. Some typography we'll probably won't need. Let's change these boxes to container instead. Hoping it will work. Nah, I don't think this thing has. Yeah, there was some CSS baseline. You remember which I missed. Yeah, this CSS baseline. Okay, let's check where it goes once again. Just before the container. Just before the container. No, it doesn't look right. No. Oops. Max width shouldn't have been here, but instead here. What's this? Right. Hmm. Yeah, I don't think any of these light things actually has anything visible. Here is some surfaces. Let's check surfaces. Maybe that's what we need. Okay, paper. I think this is paper or maybe card. Okay, this might be what we really need. The background of an application. Okay, okay, fine, fine. Where do we get it from? From here. Okay, let's remove all this shit and add this thing here. Just paper. Paper might be what we were. Oh, no, no, no. We wanted just to delete this one. I want to keep the class name. Paper might be what we really need. Okay, at least I see something. But somehow, where is this thing in Firefox? Which, yeah, this thing. No, no, not this one. How do I? Yeah, this thing in Firefox does it. Okay. I can actually make Firefox use English. Somehow it's still not using English. Okay, I didn't properly add it. Yes, now it should do this. Okay, so let me try to inspect element. So we have 3 different papers, but somehow I do not see. Yeah, I think they are too close to each other, so that's why we don't see the difference between them. Yeah, okay. For that, we would need to add some margin between them. So we have this TRS panel, and we have this up. Okay, I actually made the app display flex. Okay, okay. Let's try like this. So this space around doesn't really seem to work. Space between, or whatever I do with padding, it does nothing. TRS panel, maybe I can do margin here. Maybe 10 pixels. Okay, now this looks much better with some margin. Where is this material UI thing? Somehow I feel like it tells us to also use classes root. Will this change anything, I wonder? Use styles, make styles, okay, padding. This is how they're providing styles. Padding theme spacing 3.0. Okay, that's interesting. They have this make styles thing to make a styles just for this component. That's an interesting approach. I don't think I'm ready for this yet. Margin 10 pixels. I will add here, and that's maybe a better idea would be to try a card. What do you think? Let me try a card. Paper hair cards, right? Also expansion panels. How would card look? Card looks kinda the same. I don't really see a difference in. I don't really see difference in how they look. Let me try to import card here. And then use card, let's say, for the first element. I wonder, will I even see the difference or not? Is there any difference between panel 1, the top panel, and the other ones? I personally don't see any difference. But okay, I think we can agree that this panel might be fine. Anyway, then we can look at the spec. Where is my spec? My spec can be found here. So when the page loads, the user should see 3 panels: input, transforms, and output. Okay, this one we can consider done. Now number 2. When the page loads, the user should see the input panel containing the following elements: a drop-down for encoding selection and a text area. This means we need a drop-down for encoding selection and a text area. Here, these two things. Let's see how we can make a drop-down here first of all. Is there a thing called drop-down first of all? There is no such thing called drop-down here, which is interesting. It might be part of an input. Selects maybe. Okay, I think something like this, but something like this but different. Maybe this one. Which drop downs should I use? Which drop down should I use, I wonder? Probably this one. Let's look at the code here. Don't know, I want to skip all the code which is not related to a select. So this is somehow called a native select. In every example they do this with style thing. I wonder if I should follow the same style too. I think I probably should. Okay, let us try this native select thing first. So have three form controls, which is, I guess, this form, which is with input label and bootstrap input. This is this. Now this form control, which is related to this bootstrap, and this relates to this. I actually don't see the difference between these two. So we need a form control, input label, native select, form control, input label, native select. Yeah, also there are actually examples in TypeScript, but it looks the same almost. Yeah, input label, menu item, form control, select, native select. Actually, normally this all shouldn't be done in a single component. Instead, we should create a separate component for each panel, which I will start doing immediately once I complete this. But we need to think actually if we want a separate panel for each separate component for each panel, or if we can have one component which can cover multiple panels. Anyway, so for today, let's just do it with these components inside the app.js, although this is app.tsx, I mean, which is actually not a good way of doing things. Maybe end of the day, and by the end of the stream I will actually change it. So anyway, you can just copy paste this code. Where is this code? Don't really completely understand what's it doing, but we will see now. This is one thing I don't really like about React frameworks. You also have bootstrap inputs I missed. They're very verbose. Like you see, all this code is just to show you a drop down. I think this is kind of verbose. I don't see it. No, that's because I'm looking at the wrong thing. Where is this bootstrap component which we can't find? I don't see it, do you? Bootstrap input, I mean. Bootstrap input. Ah, we created here. Okay. Okay, I think there is no going around this now. Let's add it here. And then let me copy everything from here, basically. I'll have to copy everything then. Now going around this. Create styles. Okay, we import it with styles. We import it. What are you unhappy with? Classes. It says classes. What is this? Cannot find name. Input base. Input base you cannot find. Here is input base. What you're talking about? Okay. First of all, classes. Where is this classes thing? Classes created here. Okay, this really we can remove for now because we just want it to look like a drop down. Use styles. Use this. Use styles. Yeah, okay. This is a very functional paradigm. I'm actually not very good with functional programming. I have years and years of experience with object-oriented programming paradigm, but functional programming kind of gets me. I'm still not good with it, but because of Redux, it is hugely popular now, and React almost exclusively uses functional paradigm. Now, before, you remember, they had components, which are basically classes, but now instead of classes they went to having pure functional components, meaning that a component now is just a function instead of being a class like it was before. So, and all these make styles, use styles coming from Material UI, also very influenced by current React and Redux practices, I'm pretty sure, by functional programming. What's it complaining about now? Can't find name, use styles, but we just created it, right? Didn't we? Should we make you do it again? Okay, I think it compiled this time. Okay, and here we have this thing, this drop down. It's kind of nice that we now have a drop down. It's better than not having a drop down, definitely. But now let's move it all into a separate component, because app.js became too big. We shouldn't even be having app anything in this app tsx except of the base component, probably. So how do we properly do it? Let's create a folder components. I think we can call it like this, components. And here we will create a folder called let's say root screen, or maybe main screen. Normally I prefer using some snippets to create components, but let's create it now manually. We will call it main screen component. Also, you see I'm not setting up Redux yet, because for first day of actual work I wanted to show some real action first. Think I can set up Redux tomorrow on day 5. So what will it consist show? So component basically is just a function. Since we're using TypeScript, there is let's import React. There is a class FC for this thing. Import no, import React from React. That's how it should be. Now main screen component, and we can make sure that this is the FC functional component. It means react.fc. So this will be a functional component which will return what it will return. It will return all our functional stuff. So now instead of having everything inside app component, we will have main screen component which will do this for us. So we need to export it. Main screen component. Okay, and the result is virtually the same. However, we also have this TRS panel CSS inside the app.css. Instead, we should create a CSS file here, main screen component. But it looks like they don't like even this, because they provide you they want us to provide CSS here instead of providing them in dedicated CSS files. So they can style it with themes. I think this is the point of it. But somehow this is very... I'm not sure I like this approach. There is probably a reason for this, which I don't completely understand. I will just go with creating our own CSS file here and importing it here. Main screen components CSS. Okay, have same thing, but now we have it in a different component. Now that we have this all in a separate component, we might want to split the components, actually, the panels. So I would do input panel. Input panel, then what? Yeah, let's create input panel first, so that we are sure everything's fine. Input panel tsx, or we have this naming convention, panel tsx, input panel component tsx. So that we're keeping the same convention. My convention here basically, for folder names I'm using snake case. For component names I'm using camel case starting with capital letter, and yeah, for basically file names I'm using camel case starting with capital letter. So again that it should be created using a snippet usually, but let's do it manually for now. Input panel component. I can also type it, say that this is functional component, as if you could provide something else to it. Export it. Now we have to return. What do we need to return? One of the components, which is here. This one is a card, but we don't really need a card as far as we understood it, right? So let's move this input component here. Form control, select, native select. Yeah, this classes dot margin. What is inside margin? Let's just see. Margin theme spacing. So basically, spacing is it makes like it's set in the theme. I think the only point of doing this is to make themes work properly. I think one of the problems that I don't understand the logic behind this CSS thing in Material UI. So for now I'll just leave it at that, but we really need only this thing, right? Only this margin. We don't really need anything else. Let me check again. What's this using? Classes.margin. We don't really need anything else. We just need classes.margin, right? Yeah, it looks like this. Create styles. Yeah, we also need bootstrap input. I'm wrong. So this bootstrap input, okay. This is kinda too verbose. I'm sure there is a reason for doing this stuff. So now we are moving input component from main screen component to its own component. Create styles with styles theme. This all it just might not be. What's happening here? Why is it not compiling? It says, right? Cannot find name form control. Okay, form control here, form control here. Maybe here. It cannot find. Oh, here. This one we don't need really anymore. I will need it here instead. Okay. Classes margin. Let me try to restart it. Here we can have encoding selector. It will have a value, let's say base 60, let's say UTF-8, base 64, have hex. Okay, so then this input component will go here. Okay, let us start. Input panel component will go here. Menu item is defined but never used. Select is defined but never used. Okay, this is fine. This is not an issue. Okay, so here we have encoding text, base 64, hex. I think don't like where it's placed. Somehow I want to place it more left of everything. Native select input, bootstrap input name equals HIDH customize native simple. See, I'm not sure what makes it be in the center of the screen. Position relative. Okay, position relative, but I don't see any. Relative to what? To this thing. Okay. This thing is a what? Margin top 24. Text align center. Somehow I don't find this. I'm trying to understand why this drop down is in the middle. Horizontally it's in the middle, right? What makes it be there? I'm not sure. Okay, this control, all this control is in the center. That's why. But I don't kinda see the CSS, which okay. Multi paper. Yeah, this is paper. Multi-form control. This is this. Position relative. If I change position relative, then only top box actually changes, but only a label changes position. But I think this paper might actually place it in the center. text align center. I think this thing makes it here. Yes, okay. And actually it's coming from the app, from .f. I think I did it myself. So it inherited this text align center from the app. Okay. Anyway, what was our second spec? Docs spec. When page load, the user should see the input panel containing the following elements: a drop down for encoding selection and a text area. Okay, app.css text align center. I think we can remove it. Let's say we removed it. What will happen now? It will go there. Okay, we have encoding selector somehow. Now we want a text area. So bear with me, I actually see this UI framework for the first time. That's why it's taking some time. What is this text area auto size? Text fields. Text area component for React which grows with content. I think this might be what we need, but I don't think we actually want it to grow with content. What about these text fields? To enter text fields allow user to enter text into a UI. They typically appear in forms and dialogues. Yeah, okay, this is just this. It's just to enter text. This is not what we need. Yeah, I think text area is the thing which we probably need. Yeah. Text area auto size. And I think it might be rather easy to add. Okay, I'll just close all other windows. Text area auto size. Let's see. The remits in the okay. Because of the CSS, we need it to somehow would add just a container and then make it a flexbox with the direction column. This will probably work. Let me do this. Oh, we have this TRS input panel, right? Actually, we can easily do it in a CSS here. Or we can even do it for every input, for every panel. This might even be fine. Display flex direction column. Okay, there we got it, but somehow I don't want it to be resizable. Okay, now this encoding won't go. It won't go like this. Okay, this one is fine, more or less. I will only need to change something. First of all, I want some padding, maybe like 10 pixels padding. Yeah, you see, we have some padding. Then this should have max width, this element. I hope we can just get it. I understand why. Class name equals TRS input you know what, TRS drop down. We might have this drop down thing common. TRS drop down max width, I don't know, 100 pixels. I'm sorry, I opened wrong window. Okay, I'd have it like this. I'm not sure why it even affected. Why would it affect this? Did it really affect? No, it didn't affect this. Okay, but somehow it became smaller. I don't know how. Let me check. Text area auto size, rows max. Can I make it resize disabled or something like? What actually do I have here? Autofocus, children, context method, default checked, hidden, and list item identity. I'm not sure if it's possible to disable resizing it. I don't really want it to be resizable. Okay, let me call it, first of all, let me add a class name to it. Class name TRS input drop down. No, what do I go? TRS text area. Now I will want to set a height to it, some height, which we can make like maybe 80%. 80% of wood though, it will probably not work correctly. So it's not listening to me. It's saying no, it will not be 300,000 because something. 300, I mean, not 300,000, of course. So we could do it, but I'm not sure if this is the correct way. And this text area is probably not even supposed to be editable. So maybe instead of having text area like this, we might just put text inside a div, inside some container. We might have container with a text there, and then we can give some we can give some border to this container so that it looks like it's a text area, although it's not. But I'm not sure how easy it will be then to get this text from there. On input, yeah, we will not have all these on input things, we will not have there. We can use default HTML text area, I guess. What if we just use what if we just use default HTML text area? What will happen? What if I really just text area? I don't think we need to style anything there, and even if I needed to style there, it's not that hard. Yeah, you see, pretty much. But pretty much this again is resizable. How is this possible? I don't want it to be resizable. Hold on. Maybe we can stop making this resizable by giving it some width. No width. Oh, okay, we can just Google how to do that. Disable text area resize. Okay. Resize none. We need to add resize none. Okay, that's what we were looking for. Text area resize none. Yeah, now it's not resizable. That's great. Somehow it could be a little bigger. What do you think? No, it can be, I think, bigger. Because probably of the think it does need to be important. No, it does need to be important. I don't know why it needs to be so important. But what if I remove both width and height? Oh no, here I can't remove them. What if I remove here with height? Let's let them decide on itself what will decide. I think, yeah, automatically it will be fine. No, it won't be fine. What am I talking about? I want though it to take all available space. Auto. Height auto is not doing all this. Okay, let's let me height 170. Don't understand why one thing though. Why is there so much space on top? Because it shouldn't be there. What is this space? It says that this space is part of this element, right? Because I don't understand what's happening in this element. Because of their weird style system. I'm not sure how to remove it. Vertical align, top, flex direction. Okay, flex direction column. Here, this for example says that it has some space on top. I know why it needs this space on top, because of this encoding thing appearing there, you see. So maybe we can reduce margin there a little. Oh, padding, I mean, padding. Here we added a padding to the rest panel. Where is the rest panel padding? Maybe we can do padding top. We can make 0. Somehow it didn't change anything. Why? You see, there seems to be. Yeah, I removed this. Padding top 0 pixels. Okay, padding top was 10, right? At one point. Because everything was 10. So padding top does decrease this to some extent. Okay, let's say see padding top to 0. Better than nothing, I think. Okay. Let's now write a test case for Cyprus. Again, it won't do much. It's more of just checking, just being it for the sake of it, because they're not yet functional test case, but still it should be present. So let's go to Cyprus, integration, page load spec. Actually, I should have added it before working on this, because this would be the proper test-driven development technique. Since today I was really more into somehow thinking Cyprus is not defined. ESLint things. I think it's something like this, Cyprus global. No, maybe it's like this, globals. CY true. I think it might be like this. Nope. Or maybe like this. Okay, I don't remember how, but there was a way to tell it's ESLint not to underline sci here, and context probably too. Anyway, CY get. Now, how do we do it? We check our element. Where is our element, which we just coded? Or if we haven't coded it yet, we just make up some name for this element. But here we already have this element, and it has we assigned it a class drop down element. Drop down for encoding selection. So this drop down is here, our drop down. This actually you can add here both this class margin, and you can call it TRS encoding drop down. So we want to find this TRS encoding drop down. It should be visible on app startup, right? And it should be inside app also, so it should be, we can do it like this. This means that this is a child of this element. It might be also child of any child. There might be any number of children between, but the point is this element has a precedence over this element. It means it comes earlier. In our case, we have TRS input panel here, right? Then this is a parent to TRS encoding dropdown because it comes after it, right? So if we put a space between these two, then this selector will apply to only those TRS encoding dropdown which are children of TRS input panel, of a element with class TRS input panel, that is. Okay, so here we check that this dropdown is a child of this TRS input panel and that it is actually visible at the same time. And the text area. Our text area with TRS text area, and we can have also name TRS. Yeah, I think TRS text area is fine. TRS text area. Let's check our Cyprus test now. Yeah, you see, now it again succeeded. Now it succeeded because everything is there. Suppose we don't have that element for some reason. Text area is not there anymore, right? Then in the test we will see, actually it will fail to compile. It failed to compile because expected JSyncs, of course, but yeah, because closing tag, I should have removed closing tag too. Okay, so now suppose we remove this. You see, no text area here. And then it will not be able to find this element. You see, it can't find this element inside the input panel. That's why test is failing. But text area is here, at least for now. Now I'm going to commit it. Before committing, I'm usually running git status to check what actually changed. There is some bootstrap which I downloaded, but we will not use bootstrap, so I can pretty much remove it. I'm using remref to remove files for Windows. Actually, I will use my Linux here. rm public. I don't really need this bootstrap CSS because we're not really using it. I will add src components folder. And I will commit changes. What I did today. Edit material UI dependency UI dep, then styled panels, edit drop down and text area to the input panel. Okay, git push origin master. Now we push it. And we check the UI, the CI. Now CI should pull it and build it and check if tests are passing, but we already know that tests are passing. Here you see previous tests which was built actually. Now we don't have any example tests running. Okay, now it's building. Okay, it will take some time to build. While it's building, I think I'm going to say goodbye and thank you for watching this stream. And in the next stream, I want to kind of understand this style system of material UI and understand if I really need it or if I want to go with just usual CSS. The point is, if they have themes, then somehow these themes should still be provided. But I will check it between the streams and will tell you tomorrow about this. Also tomorrow, I think tomorrow I'm going to stop Redux. That's the thing which we will really need, because no React app currently is working without a Redux. Redux, this is a state management system for React. Actually, not just for React. Redux is the state management system for different JavaScript frameworks, and it can be even used without any framework, but it is very popular with React, particularly popular with React. The point of the state management is to better separate data from presentation. What happens in Redux, we state changes only in response to actions instead of directly being changed from user input. So user input, instead of directly changing the state, sends an action which later changes the state. Changing the state leads then to change of presentation. It's a little hard to understand at first if you've never seen it, but tomorrow I will show you how to set up Redux and how to use it. And I think that's it for today. Yeah, tests build fine. You see, now we have two tests. They're both building fine. We are going with our spec, which consists of 25 points. Once 25 points are done, then we'll have a working app which we can deploy somewhere. Okay, thank you for watching. See you tomorrow. I will actually plan a broadcast for tomorrow about same time. Goodbye.